Here with Coach Mangini, we are going viral. Raiders rookie wide receiver Hunter Renfrow had an impressive catch at joint practice with the Rams on Wednesday. If you're wondering what it looked like from his perspective, wonder no longer. We got Renfrow cam.
Oh, come on.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Coach, you love this.
Is this a Hard Knocks thing or is this a Raiders innovation?
Oh, that's a good question.
I wonder, yeah, is this like their local...
Does this look like a Gruden thing? Do you think Gruden was like, I've got a great idea?
Well,
let's take
Team
cameras.
social media.
I doubt they're throwing cameras on people's helmets without passing it by Gruden. Like if I was out of practice and suddenly a bunch of dudes had GoPros on, it'd be a problem for whoever was putting them on.
Yeah, I can understand certain positions. I can understand it being on the linebacker. He's the captain of the defense. You can see where his eyes is. I can understand on the center. He would be able to see the reads are, where the mic call is, which way I'm going to strong on the quarterback. You'd be able to tell because a lot of times we put a stripe on the quarterback's helmet. So in the film, we know if the quarterback was looking to the left or to the right. So if you had a GoPro there, I could see it being very, very functional to helping us get better, Coach.
Now, the only other place that this might be being used is for VR, virtual reality. So if they're putting cameras on players so that the other players can then go experience the rep through virtual reality, then I'm all for it. But I wouldn't be putting it on TV. I'd be using it.
You mean like the way we just did?
Yeah, it'd be actually using
proprietary.
It for virtual reality. Like I like that perspective.
Not surprising, Coach. All right, let's get back to Kyler Murray.
That's good, Coach.
If he was nervous in his debut last night, he hit it pretty well. He had an efficient night. He working out of the shotgun the whole time, went 6 of 7, 44 yards in 10 plays. His night was done after that. After getting the first preseason game out of the way, Kyler said it was a dream come true to play last night.
I think, it's natural as rookies just to, kind of have expectations, how is it going to be, overthinking stuff like that. But for me, I was just going out there being myself, like always, trusting my abilities, trust what coach calls, and just trying to go out there and execute what he calls. So it was fun.
Coach, first impressions of Kyler Murray from what you saw?
Well, when I watched him in college, I was always impressed by his poise in the pocket for a guy that has the ability to run like he does and to make plays like he does. I always felt like he gave the pocket plenty of time to unfold, and the receivers a chance to go through their route, and him a chance to go through his progression. And that's hard to do when you have that other skill set that you can easily go to. So I like that, and I thought we saw that last night. He hit a range of throws. He seemed poised. The mechanics were good overall. All those things are really positive. What I was concerned about is there was one play where he had to break out of the pocket, and that's great, but then he also got sacked. So in that one drive, he almost got sacked and then did get sacked. So that's an indication of what he's going to be facing game in and game out, drive in and drive out, which is hard.
Well, those two plays, was that a Kyler issue or an offensive line issue in your mind?
Well, the sack looked like a team meeting back at him. Like it looked like nobody got their block. But the one that he got away from, it shows you, the problems he's going to create for defenses if they don't have contain on the outside.
One thing we need to realize, and you could hear it in his interviews, Kyler played his high school football in the state of Texas. And as much as I love Ohio, as much as I love Florida, nothing bigger than high school football in Texas. So on that stage, there were people that said his high school career, he was the best player in the history of high school football in the state of Texas. That would have to be a pretty good football player.
A great football player.
I mean, he had to be. Then he goes to Oklahoma, ends up winning the Heisman Trophy after sitting there. Did I say he was drafted Major League Baseball? So to think he would be nervous in an interview or playing in a preseason game, no. I mean, he's a spectacular talent that has exceeded at every single level. My only question mark with him is, will they have the system around him? This air raid, I know what I saw in college. I know that won't work in the pros, but I'm giving it a chance. And last night, you could see them. They've tinkered with it to make it more pro-ready. So now with that offensive line that's been bad for a long time, David Johnson, the running back, who's been inconsistent, and the receiving corps led by Larry Fitzgerald, if these guys play, this kid's going to have a chance. But if they don't, if that air raid, if they don't have the proper protection, if they don't have those things, it's going to be difficult. But to think that he would struggle, let's not forget who this kid is. He might be the best high school player that's ever played in the state of Texas. We saw him win the Heisman Trophy. And if it's anything that Heisman Trophy winners now might be able to play in the NFL, Baker Mayfield maybe gave us a little glimpse of what we're going to see with Kyler. And Kyler has an advantage than Baker. They named him the starter from day number 1. And that gives him a huge advantage into his rookie season compared to what Baker was dealing with last year, Nick.
And it's why all these reps are so important for him, because listen, I was in Texas when he was in high school football, and I mean, it was like Paul Bunyan, the legendary stories. And then you'd see the clips. Someone had video from the stands of what he was doing. But then he went to Texas A&M first, and he was going to play as a true freshman, ended up barely playing at all his freshman season. Sophomore year, transfers. So he doesn't get any game action. Right. His junior year, he's behind Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma. So he gets essentially no action. So since that great high school career, there's only been one season he's played a ton of live bullet football, and that was last year when he set all the records winning the Heisman Trophy. So he doesn't have as much game experience as you would expect for a #1 overall pick. And so to see him yesterday in that first play in an NFL game, albeit a preseason game, he's backed up inside his own 5-yard line. Throws that quick out to the sideline, gets him some breathing room. He was totally poised in that moment, which to me was really impressive. And yes, there were some easy throws for him, but he also had the read option where they went to the left. He could have run with it, and he throws
almost an RPO.
And it was almost a lateral to Larry Fitzgerald.
They run the bubble screen. They fake the dive or the zone to the strong side. If it's not there, he pulls it, he can run it, or he can throw it to the swing.
And he throws it, and maybe in a regular season game, he runs with it, but he doesn't want to take the hit in a preseason game. I don't think there's much you can critique and say he's screwed up in this game. And I think the escapability is going to matter, because even if Arizona has a better offensive line than it did last year, they're not going to have a very good offensive line this year. They haven't put the resources into it yet.
And with all the success that he's had in high school and in college, and I don't know him, I didn't get a chance to interview him during the draft process, but coming off in the interview, there seems to be a humbleness, a sincerity to him, just a different type of poise for a young guy than some other young guys that we'll probably talk about who have none of that. And I think that's going to go a long way. When you're thrust into a position like this, to be able to handle it with some grace and poise, that not only helps from a fan perspective, but from your teammates' perspective.
No doubt.
Because you look at this guy and say, okay, he is ready.
Because we do get nervous.
Yeah,
and
everybody gets nervous.
You get nervous.
And to see him stand up there and take the good and the bad and handle it gracefully, as a vet, you look and think, okay, we're going to be okay with this guy.
And Nick, your biggest concern since he was drafted obviously was his size. I know it was a short sample size, but did it put you at ease in any way just from what you saw last night?
You didn't see it hurt him yesterday. I didn't see one play where I'm like, man, it would have, if he was 6'3", it would have been a better play. Now, we'll see over the course of the season. We'll see once he starts taking punishment. We'll see if balls start getting batted down, which is always, even if it's unfair, the concern with short quarterbacks.
Right, and that's more urban legend. Last year in college, he only had 5 passes batted down. Daniel Jones, 7 inches taller than him, had 12 batted down. So,
Nick, I was waiting for you to comment on Jenna's short sample size.
Oh, yeah.
Where was the drum roll on that?
No one gets my puns.
Yeah, we need the...
Oh, I just now got it.
As
opposed to small sample size, short sample size. Well done, Jenna.
I got it, Jenna.
I'm going to marinate for 1 second, and we're going to move on. Coach, we'll see you later in the show. Cut off. The Texans got Deshaun Watson some more help. That's next on First Things First. I was told I'm not supposed to point out puns or jokes, so I had